The story began with fire and ash. A lone warrior stands against the apocalypse, armor cracked, sword heavy, hope flickering. Then she drops to one knee. Not from weakness, but from the weight of it all. Her voice breaks through the smoke, and then they arrive, the dark gods. Not whispers, not myths. The kind of beings that make entire galaxies go offline when their names are spoken. Their leader steps forward. Tall, cold, regal, dripping arrogance. But the warrior, beaten, burned, still defiant, looks up at them through the ash. A familiar figure steps forward, Jean Grey, the Phoenix. Her voice cuts through the silence, gentle but commanding. Jean's words reach for something buried deep, the last bit of hope left in the warrior's heart. But the dark gods don't see redemption, they see weakness. Their leader steps forward, eyes glowing red with power. But Jean doesn't back away. Before she can finish, Adani lashes out. Her blade rises, fueled by confusion, rage, and fear. The warrior strikes, and the fire of the phoenix meets the fury of the fallen. Adani jolts awake. Sweat drips down her face as she realizes it wasn't real. Her hands clutch the sheets. The memory of the battle still burns behind her eyes. The fire, the ash, the failure. But something lingers. That eerie sensation of being watched, of someone else's presence inside her mind. She remembers Jean's words, calm, reassuring, saying she was creating a psychic barrier, a way to protect Adani's mind from the voices of millions crying out in pain. Across the galaxy, every life reaching for help, their emotions flooding through her senses like a storm that never ends. Adani stares into the mirror, her pulse pounding in her ears. Then it hits her. Those voices echoing inside her head aren't new. Her reflection flickers. She feels it again, the phoenix, its presence crawling beneath her skin. Her reflection doesn't answer with words. It just smiles, a cruel, knowing look that tightens the air around her. Adani's fear ignites into fury. She slams her fist through the mirror with a cry that rattles the walls. Glass splinters across the floor, fragments of her own reflection staring back at her from every angle. She presses her hands to her head, shaking, her voice breaking as she screams. Far from Adani's turmoil, a fleet drifts through the quiet of deep space. A massive warship is seen gliding past a blue planet. Inside the command vessel, the obsidian-cloaked warlord steps forward, his glaive gleaming in the dim light. His voice cuts through the air like a blade. Before he can finish, alarms blare across the bridge. Screens flicker, sensors spike. Corvus Glaive's lips curl into a smile, sharp, confident, and cruel, as his command echoed through the ship. The silence of space doesn't last long. From the void, Jean Grey appears, the phoenix reborn in a blaze of gold and crimson fire. Her power burns like a second sun, wings of energy unfurling across the stars. Now, surrounded by an entire fleet aiming to erase her from existence, Jean Grey stands unshaken, the living embodiment of life, death, and everything in between. And somewhere in the shadows of that fleet, Thanos is watching, waiting for the moment the phoenix burns too bright. The battle ignites. The fleet opens fire, but the phoenix burns brighter, cutting through the darkness like a living comet. Flames surge around her as she looks toward the stars. From the void, Nova rockets forward, energy blazing from his hands. Together, they strike. Nova's energy blasts rip through the nearest ships, explosions flashing across the sky like dying stars. But in the command ship, Corvus Glaive snarls as alarms erupt around. The battle rages across the stars, fire and light streaking between fleets like living weapons. Jean moves first, precise, powerful, unstoppable, cutting through the enemy lines as ships erupt in waves of orange flame. Nova joins the charge, his energy trail slicing across the battlefield in streaks of blue. As another ship disintegrates in Jean's wake, the exchange lasts seconds. The Black Order command ship erupts in chaos. Sparks rain from the ceiling, system flicker and die, and every screen on the bridge goes dark. Corvus Glaive leans over the console, his claws curling in frustration as the fleet trembles under the Phoenix's power. Jean and Nova soar through the wreckage, flames and energy spiraling behind them like twin. Jean's expression tightens, her voice steady but uncertain. Nova glances over with a half-smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Jean's tone sharpens, a flicker of worry behind her focus. Far away from the chaos in orbit, the real architect of this destruction walks calmly through the ruins below. Thanos, the Mad Titan, stands surrounded by fire, smoke, and silence. His armor glows with a cold light, the Warlock's eye pulsing at his chest like a living heart. Thanos turns, the faintest smile crossing his face. Beside him walks Pericus, one of the dark gods, his expression hard, disapproval veiled beneath pride. Thanos pauses for only a moment, the flames reflecting in his eyes. The screams around them are the kind of music only he enjoys. His single word hangs heavy in the air, cruel and final. To Thanos, conquest is never complete. There's always another world to burn, another god to defy, another flame to snuff out. Amid the smoldering ruins, Thanos walks alongside Pericus, their alliance forged in conquest and betrayal. The ground trembles beneath their feet, the remnants of yet another civilization reduced to ash. Thanos' voice carries a cold satisfaction. He taps the glowing gem embedded in his chest, the Warlock's eye, its eerie light pulsing with power. Before them, survivors crawl through the rubble, desperate, pleading, one of them trembling, raising his hands in mercy. Pericus turns to Thanos, his tone calm, almost casual. Thanos' gaze hardens as the soldier raises his weapon, the point gleaming in the light of the burning city. The city burns around them, smoke curling into the red-stained sky. Thanos surveys the destruction like an artist admiring his own masterpiece. To him, this isn't cruelty, it's order. He turns toward the trembling soldiers before him, his voice calm and deliberate. The soldiers shift nervously, eyes darting between Thanos and the bodies at their feet. Then his tone darkens, a final command masked as mercy. The weight of the choice visible in his eyes. His grip tightens around his weapon. The silence stretches thin. Then a cry echoes through the rubble as he had fulfilled the Mad Titan orders. Thanos doesn't flinch. He doesn't blink. He simply watches, the faintest smirk curling across his face. The fires of conquest still burn, but Thanos and Pericus speak as if standing in a boardroom, not a battlefield. The dead litter the ground around them, trophies of their logic and power. Pericus tilts his head toward the bodies. The god of logic and the titan of death speak of murder like it's math. Pericus shifts the subject. Thanos' gaze hardens. The word Phoenix hangs heavy in the air, and then a voice cuts through the smoke. Corvus Glaive steps forward, flanked by soldiers, his armor scorched from battle. Thanos pauses, the grin slowly returning to his face. He looks down at the glowing eye, its energy swirling faster as if feeding on his excitement. Far from the chaos of space, Jean Grey stands among the trees, a rare moment of calm in a universe burning out of control. The air around her shimmers with quiet fire, the faint trace of the phoenix still glowing in her eyes. Through the bond that has tied them together across lifetimes, she hears his voice. Scott Summers, her anchor, her Cyclops. Jean's expression softens, but her tone is steady. He steps forward through the cold, his breath fogging the air, desperation in his voice. For a moment, the two stand separated by worlds, one wrapped in fire, the other in ice, yet still bound by the same pain. Jean lowers her gaze, her eyes dim, her shoulders tense. The truth she's been avoiding finally slips out. She looks away, her voice breaking just slightly. The forest rustles quietly around her, and somewhere in the distance the flames begin to rise again. Snow drifts quietly around Scott Summers, while light filters through the forest canopy where Jean Grey stands. Two worlds apart, yet bound by the same conversation, the same love, and the same fear. Scott's voice breaks the silence, soft but certain. Jean cuts him off, her tone heavy with conviction. She closes her eyes, focusing on the emotional currents rippling across the cosmos. She moves carefully through the trees, her fiery presence soft against the green light. Scott's voice cuts in again, distant but sharp. Scott hesitates, the words coming slower this time. Jean exhales, the weight of her reality pressing down. Her expression hardens, but her voice remains soft, a mix of exhaustion and resolve. The words hang between them, fragile, necessary, and true. The peace of the forest shatters in an instant. A blinding streak of blue light tears through the sky, striking Jean square in the chest. The force sends her staggering back as the air ripples around her. She looks up, eyes wide, shocked. Through the treetops, Richard Rider rockets downward like a meteor, energy blazing from his hands. But something's off. His aim isn't wild, it's precise, controlled. Jean's flames surge to life, her eyes burning gold as she takes to the air. The forest below erupts in flame as Nova charges again, blue light clashing against orange fire. The impact splits the sky open with thunderous force. Jean's voice cuts through the chaos, desperate but focused. But Nova doesn't respond. His movements are too sharp, too mechanical, like a puppet dancing on invisible strings. As Jean braces herself inside a blazing shield of phoenix fire, she realizes something terrifying. Thanos isn't just coming for her. He's already inside her allies, and the war for the galaxy has become a war for their very minds. Nova slams forward, wrapped in a blinding blue aura. His eyes burn white, expression locked in fury, a puppet to Thanos' will. The air ripples as he barrels toward Jean like a human warhead. Jean leaps aside, fire flaring in her palms, her boots skimming the ground as she counterbalances his momentum. The forest explodes around them, branches shattered, dirt erupting under their power. Nova skids across the clearing, his boots carving furrows into the earth as he spins back toward her, fists glowing brighter. Jean steadies herself, one hand raised, the other clenched tight. The hit lands, clean, brutal, desperate. Nova crashes back through the brush, skidding across the torn ground. The forest around them hums with power, and Jean knows this is no simple mind control trick. The Phoenix is being forced to fight the only person left who believed in her. The dust settles, the fire fades, and for the first time in minutes, Jean Grey and Nova are still. Nova pulls himself off the ground, wincing. Jean's glare sharpens, fire flickering faintly around her hands. He blinks, confusion crossing his face. Jean steps closer, her voice calm but heavy with exhaustion. Nova's expression darkens. She exhales. Her eyes ignite with purpose, her tone now steady and commanding. Nova crosses his arms, the corner of his mouth twitching in disbelief. And just like that, the war for the galaxy's soul begins again, with Jean Grey at the front, defying gods, armies, and even destiny itself. The forest crackles with energy, the air still humming from the clash between Nova and Jean. But before the tension can settle, a familiar, confident voice cuts through the trees, steady, powerful, unmistakable. From above, light floods the clearing as three figures descend. First comes Captain Marvel, her aura burning like a second sun, posture calm but commanding. Beside her lands Lady Sif, armor gleaming with the pride of Asgard. And finally, crashing through the branches with zero subtlety, Rocket Raccoon. He lands with his blaster ready and a smirk that could melt steel. Jean can't help but smile, just a little. After everything, the hatred, the doubt, the loneliness, she's no longer standing alone. She looks at each of them in turn, Nova still bruised but ready, Sif burning with vengeance, Rocket already arguing with a tree, and Captain Marvel radiating unshakable resolve. The wind stirs, the light flares, and the promise of war hangs heavy in the air. Because this time, the Phoenix isn't fighting alone. And that wraps up Phoenix #6, hunted by Thanos. Welcome to Comic Lore, home of Marvel and DC's wildest stories, where heroes rise, fall, and come back stronger than ever. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to stay updated on your comic lore. Don't forget to let us know in the comments if you want to see more comic stories from your favorite characters. Until next time, comic lovers, see you in the next one.